Alright guys, we're here at Chrissy Priest Dam in the Nashville area, and we are going to shoot some more black and white film. Today I unfortunately forgot to bring my Pentax 645, so we're going to be shooting some 35mm. Now I wanted to try out a different exposure technique. I brought my Sony a7R II with me as well. Some of my friends have been using that to meter their film, so I wanted to give it a go and compare it with my spot meter and incident meter. So here we go. So I've got the Canon 1V with a 28mm 1.8 lens, and the film is the FP4. So let's check it out. Let's take a reading and see what this internal meter, what do I want to shoot this at? I want to shoot this scene at a, let's go a 6.3 or a 5.6 or an 8, because usually that lens is pretty sharp around there. So let's take a look here. All right, shutter. All right, let's see, 1000 shutter, an f6.3. Seems to be pretty good. I move it up to the sky, it's about a stop over. Go down to the shadowies, it's about a stop under. So I'm holding it right at the dam, and it's saying it's right on the money. So let's give it a go, shall we? All right, 1, 2, 3. Got it. All right, let's try our light meter. Let's just look around a little bit. Okay, so ISO is 125 and the shutter's 1000. And this is using the incident light meter. Let's just take a reading of the sunlight. We're getting an f5.6. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's do half bulb, half shadow, half light. It's gonna say an f4. That honestly might be a better reading. All right, let's switch it back over to the reflective light meter. Okay, now let's start metering our scene. So let's take a meter of that sky first thing. I'm getting a F9. It's so bright out here, it's hard to see this. F9, F8, F9, F9. So it looks like F9 is gonna be the brightest. The waterfalls, where the water is really white, moving is, I see an F11, I see an F10. Let's look at what the white foam is out there. That's an F7. So the brightest thing that I'm seeing is that water, and I'm okay with losing some of the detail in it. So let's forget about the F11. Let's set it at an F10 is the brightest thing we want detail in. Now let's check out the shadows. See some of the darkest things we want detail in. Okay, so that wall over there there's a 2.8 on the right side. Going to the middle is a 3.24. Some of the rocks on the left at 2.8. Now we're gonna want a little bit of detail on that stuff. So let's see, those rocks over there. Let's see, 2.8. So let's set 2.8 as the lowest value that I want detail in. All right, let's average that. Average is a 5.6. So the average of the tones on that shot, the brightest thing being an F10, the darkest thing being an F2.8. Average meter is 5.6. So you got 2 stops in the highlights. That film has plenty of dynamic range to capture 2 stops, and then it's 2 stops under for the darkest thing. So I feel like that f5.6 is going to be a really great exposure. So let's shoot that at an f5.6, because the last one we shot is a 6.3 with the light meter in the camera. Saying 6.3. So let's go down to a 5.6. Now on the meter on the camera, it's saying it's overexposed just a little bit, but let's try that. Okay, so there's one at f5.6. All right, so now let's pull out the digital camera. Like I said, this is the Sony a7R II, and for the lens I got a 35mm Zeiss Loxia. So let's check this out. I think the crop mode's on. Yeah. crop off. That helps. So we get an ISO of 125, f5.6. Now let's start moving that shutter to 1,000 is what we took our film photos at. Let's take a look at that. Let's see what that looks like. It looks good. I feel like it's a little underexposed. Let's shoot one at a 4.5. No, let's keep the f-stop at an f6. And then let's bump that shutter one stop to 800. So I moved the shutter. I gave it an extra stop of light. So it's now 1/800th. Let's take a look at that. There's more detail in the shadows. So let's shoot the film camera. Let's give it an extra stop of light now. All right, so we're gonna give it an extra stop of light. Let's try that out. We got some people in our shot, but it's all good. All right, so we gave it a little extra light. After I looked at the digital photo, I wanted it to be a little bit brighter in the shadows. So I took the shutter and I moved it to 1/800th instead of 1/1000. So we'll see if there's much of a difference. And just out of curiosity, let's just meter one for just the shadows. So now the shutter is 1/640th. I think that's how you say that. Oh, the meter's saying 640, so all right, let's try that. And we'll see what that looks like. All right, we're good.